So OpenAssessIt is sort of the flagship part of the OpenAssessIt toolkit. It helps people make assessments of their websites. It's not like a super big enterprise level tool, but for people who don't have that kind of money, it can really speed up the process. So here's OpenAssessIt. OpenAssessIt uses Google Chrome's Lighthouse. Chrome Lighthouse comes with anyone who has Chrome. If you just inspect here, it's under the Audits tab, and you can see there's Performance, Progressive Web Apps, Best Practices, Accessibility, SEO. I just am caring about the accessibility part right now. So I'll run this audit, and you can see here's like our little report. It says iframes don't have titles, images are missing alt attributes, but this is helpful, but if it was visual, it would be a lot easier for people to understand, and that's where OpenAssessIt comes in. Lighthouse also has a command line interface that will generate JSON files, and that's what OpenAssessIt consumes. OpenAssessIt reaches in, grabs all that data, it creates screenshots of all the failing elements, and converts the report from JSON to Markdown, which is really easy to edit. Doing assessments takes a human, so making it simple to edit and share is really helpful, and then also a little script to convert it to HTML. It also has a Docker version, which allows you to use it without knowing anything about Python. Another feature of OpenAssessIt are your ability to make custom templates. So if you look here, templates, and I want to provide custom text about how to fix color contrast. It's just a Jinja file with the Markdown flavor, and it fills in the data from that Lighthouse file. So if you feel like it, you can edit this. You don't even have to know Python or anything really to provide custom advice. You can do anything you want. I have some sort of default things that I like. I also have an unopinionated version that is just straight from Lighthouse and the advice that comes from that. Without further ado, I will show you an example. So let's just do IMDb. Let's roast this. I have a little run file that will show you a way you can kind of string together all the functionality. It'll tell you, okay, we need alias to your Lighthouse, URL, output file name, and whichever WebDriver. Now, this isn't a tutorial on how to use this. This is just an example of what it does and see if it works for you. So bash run.sh lighthouse https imdb.com, and output file name will be imdb, and the WebDriver we will use is Firefox. The WebDriver is running through Selenium, and it's the WebDriver that will take the screenshots for you. You can also use Chrome. Either one works. So it's running through Chrome Lighthouse. Now it converted it to Markdown. Now I'm going to start image creation. I'm waiting for the DOM to load and all the Ajaxy stuff. When it's sufficiently loaded, it will start taking screenshots of all the elements that have failings. Sometimes an element might be hidden. In that case, it will tell us that it's invisible or has no height or width. That is a result of maybe something in the Chrome Lighthouse file that found something in a drop-down menu that's hidden. So that kind of stuff would not come out. So that's one of the main limitations, but it still is a useful tool. And so let's take a look at what it made for us. All right. This is using Markdown. I absolutely love Markdown. But you can see that it's just this really simple Markdown. So anybody can go in and edit this without knowledge of Python or anything like that to make better stuff. All right, so form element do not have associated labels. It takes a screenshot of the label and tells you the HTML location. And I have some custom generic suggestions on how to fix it. To check for a label, ensure it exists for element. and a couple other advice. And then also in the other options, this is all of the advice that Google Chrome Lighthouse will provide, which actually comes from DQ's Axe Core engine, and some additional debugging details. Element might be missing a label. And then after that section, I say, hey, I do advise people they could try invisible screen reader only text, and I explain, okay, what is invisible screen reader only text? Links do not have a discernible name. This is an image with a link in it, and no alt text. And that goes on for a while. And then also it finds images that don't have alt attributes. And as I mentioned, sometimes an image can't be created because it might be hidden. And they'll say, hey, see the console. Again, it just found like hundreds of them for you. So sometimes you have to go in and add the extra effort there. And what I think is the most important part is it has a list of manual checks to make that come from the Chrome Lighthouse. Like page has a logical tab order. Checking if interactive controls are keyboard focusable, like interactive elements to indicate their purpose and state. Do they have hover states? That can't be found in an automated test. And so on and so forth. What I found is it's a really helpful solution for people who don't know anything about accessibility. In some cases, there'll be color contrast issues. And you can see that light gray text on a light gray background is hard to read. So for a stakeholder who's not a developer, they can see, oh man, that is low contrast. I understand what low contrast is now. Anyway, I hope you find this useful and we can help people with disabilities. If you know a little Python, I'd sure like your help in the OpenAssessIt area so we can make a GUI for this.